It is Wednesday, July 22nd of the year 2026. Welcome to another edition of Baseball Today presented by T-Mobile. I'm your host, Trevor Plouffe. Producer Dan is here as well. And our guy, Jimmy freaking Norp of Wooga's fame. I didn't even think about this. I'm going up against the Woogas today on this Baseball Today episode. We appreciate you being here. Jimmy, how are you doing?
Trev, I'm great. It's always an honor to be on this show. Nobody can beat Chris Rose, but we're going to try our best today.
Nobody can beat Chris Rose. He's partying in Alaska right now. That's
awesome.
It's so Chris Rose. Alaska straight to the flag football world championships, and that is him in a nutshell. Look, we got a great show lined up for you guys today. I appreciate all of our creators coming on and kind of filling in for Chris. I love talking to you because you want to know why?
Tell me, Trev.
It has nothing to do with your ball knowledge, although it is great.
Thank you.
But if you combine my mustache with whatever you got going on in the bottom of your chin, it's a full goatee.
We would look pretty good together. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, it's kind of an interesting image now that it's in my head.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with a tip of the cap like we always do, although our hats are backwards, so a little tip right here. The Marlins. They turned a triple play last night. Let's check it out.
Ground ball to third. Oh, baby. There's one. There's two. There's three. A triple play. Wow. Perfectly done. Leo Jimenez starts a triple play for the Marlins to retire this side here in the bottom of the eighth.
And that's an easy one right there. Love it. Triple plays just... I don't know exactly how rare they are, but they feel very rare to me.
You're lucky to get one or two a year. I love the call by the announcer there with the "oh baby" right away because he saw the play developing as soon as that ground ball was hit. Pretty cool. Triple plays are rare. They just don't happen often. So every time you see it, it's kind of shocking.
Well, if you want to be shocked, I got one for you because I was involved in a play just like this. 2012 against the A's, infield in, because I had flashed the bunt every once in a while back then. Josh Donaldson on the cut of the grass, and I just hit the chopper. I mean, it couldn't have been an easier triple play for these guys to turn. He steps on the bag, but I love the people that turned it. It was Josh Donaldson, Adam Rosales at second base, which I don't know if he's in your baseball.
Not familiar. Familiar. Yeah.
Maybe after the show we'll talk about him, but straight to Chris Carter.
Yeah, that's Chris Carter. That's my guy. That guy hit tanks.
Well,
we got to unhitch the trailer a little bit there, though, Trev. We got to get going.
I was actually fast at that point. What do you mean? That's basically just a double play. He is just on the bag.
It was routine. I'll give it to you. It was right.
Someone in the comments, time me out of the box and let me know what I ran. Was it a 4-3 down to first base? I don't really know, Jimmy. That's besides the point. Love me some triple plays. Let's get into the show, though. Let's start with the Padres down south in Atlanta, where Tatis did his best Tatis impression.
Runner goes, and a fly ball to deep left center field. That is back, and that is very gone. Way back into the bleachers. Oh, Nando.
I didn't even see that was off my guy, J.R. Ritchie. Okay, we're going to get into a big Baja Blast segment. Spoiler alert, that one's going to be on it because it was 474 feet. It's the longest homer in the show this year. And for all the talk about Nando can't hit homers anymore, he's actually been pretty dang good as of late. If you go back 2 months, he's hitting over 300. He's got 8 homers. Machado's kind of got it going over the last couple of days. Jackson Merrill's starting to do it a little bit. The Padres, though, as a team, they sit one game under 500. They're way back in the NL West because of the Dodgers, but they're only 2 games out of the wild card. So that brings us to the question. Brother Jeff Passan, went on the Pat McAfee show and said the Padres super reliever Mason Miller is, quote, definitely available. My question to you is, the odds of that happening are?
Yeah, it's hard to go against Jeff because that guy clearly knows what he's talking about, but I don't really see them moving Mason Miller. I'd go 15%. I just think the Padres, I know it's tough because the National League's so good, but the fact that their offense struggled so much at the beginning of the year, I didn't have the Padres offense being the problem on this team. Like Fernando finally got going. Like you said, Manny finally got going. You still have guys like Jackson Merrill who could get going, Xander Bogaerts. Like, it's a good core group. I still think the Padres have a chance to be one of the better teams in the National League. And trading Mason Miller just a year after you acquired him for the top prospect Leo DeVries, like that'd be tough to move him now.
Yeah, look, the only thing is, and I'm so bad at percentages. I'm going to put this one closer to, I'm going to say 35%.
Okay.
Maybe 40%. And maybe I'll even say it's a coin flip.
50,
So I just went from 30 to 50 right there, people. I don't know if you saw that. That's the way my brain works. The problem with the Padres is they need some reliable starting pitching, and it needs to happen soon. So I think what they would look for with Mason Miller would be guys that are in the big leagues producing right now. So you got to look to these teams that have excess in starting pitching, which there's not a lot of that. Then yes, you want to recoup some of the prospect capital that you gave up to get him, maybe some outfield help as well. Like, I think he could return that big of a haul, where if you're the Padres and you're like, hey, we got a lot of holes here and we'll still have a really good bullpen without him. Would it be as dominant? Obviously not. But if they're looking to compete this year, I think that they should trade him, and they could get, you could say, hey, I don't know, Mariners, what do you got some starting pitching. Would you like Mason Miller in the back end of your bullpen to pair along with some of the guys that you got? I mean, that could make sense for them. The Yankees, obviously, I think they have some starting pitching available when it comes down to it that they would be able to give up for this guy. So I am going to put it more of as a coin flip than where you had it, because I do think the haul would be big enough where they could continue to compete this year. And you're right, if the offense continues to go,
yeah,
they're always a scary team to play. They truly, truly are. And I do think the bullpen would still be pretty damn good without Mason Miller.
I agree. I think the only thing is, a lot of times I like when teams kind of go all in or all out. I think if you trade Mason Miller for players who are ready now, I just don't think that starting pitching is going to help you as much as Mason Miller would. Like, normally, if you're going to trade a guy like that, you're trading him for prospects. You're quote unquote selling. But if the Padres are still kind of buying, I'd rather just go all in and like keep Mason Miller and try to bring in young starting pitching while trading prospects away instead of Mason Miller.
I just don't think they have that.
That's fair.
So my follow-up question to this, and I kind of already shot myself in the foot a little bit. My follow-up question, and I'll go first. Give me a dark horse team to land him. I'm going Mariners.
Yeah.
Because they have the excess starting pitching. They're going to be a fascinating team at the deadline. Who wants starting pitching in this league? Every single freaking team. So they'll be able to kind of pick and choose, what do we want? They're looking for, maybe a right-handed bat, play third base. The Giants are an interesting team as far as trading with the Mariners there. But if we're talking about a dark horse team to land Mason Miller, if he is available, I would say it's the Mariners. You got one?
I would sneaky go Tampa Bay Rays, just because that's a team who I feel like they haven't made that big move at a deadline. But you think about back to when Shohei Ohtani, when he was with the Angels, you heard the Rays were in on that. I would love for the Tampa Bay Rays to sneak in there, snatch Mason Miller away, especially because we've heard a lot of talk about the Yankees. As you said, they could take Mason Miller kind of away from their division rival and say, hey, screw it. We're just going to go out there and get him ourselves and really make the back end of our bullpen elite.
Weren't they in on Juan Soto too?
Soto too. I've even heard little rumblings about Skubal. Like, he could go to Tampa. I don't see it happening, but I've heard rumors about it. So you constantly hear that the Tampa Bay Rays are in on these guys, but we've yet to see them really land one. And I think it'd be sick if they just go out there and say, all right, this is our year.
All right, let's do one thing together. Okay, let's close our eyes.
Okay.
Please, baseball gods, let us have a eventful and shocking trade deadline. Thank you.
I would love that.
Yeah, I really would too, man. The Rays to get involved. Okay. Let's move on now, and it's time for Blasts of the Week, presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast, where we take a look at all the 420-foot plus homers from this past week. We're starting here. Luis Robert Jr. This is a bomb against the Brewers here.
There goes Lou Bob.
It's fun to hit Milwaukee because there's all these things that you can hit, all these places you can go, and the ball does travel there.
How's the batter's eye there? I heard people like it a lot.
I loved it.
Makes
Milwaukee is one of those places where you had to hit a homer. If you went there and didn't hit a homer, you felt bad. Oh my gosh. I can't see who this is. Is this Sal
I mean,
Stewart?
I think it's Sal Stewart, right?
I
In
mean, this guy,
Colorado.
he's a big boy and he hits bombs.
He's been fun to watch, having a hell of a season at first base for the Reds.
Wow. How far did that go? Oh, here's our Colorado. Obviously, is going to be TJ Rumfield. No doubt about that.
Half of these homers are going to be in Colorado.
456 feet on this one, just getting past Sal Stewart's 455. Love the leg kick. Love the extension. Number 7.
Right, yeah, you like that. We love a good number 7.
Oh, my gosh. This is Andres Chaparro. This one goes 467 feet. If you're new to this program, we're going to see Colorado and we're going to see Sacramento.
Coors Jr., the people are calling it.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
That's a good swing, though.
I think he knew he got that one. And the farthest homer in all of baseball this year. We just talked about a Tatis Jr. 474 in Atlanta.
Fernando doing it for Slam Diego.
Oh my gosh. Like, yes, Fernando, yes.
Yeah, it's good to see him finally break out of it. When he had that old no home run streak going to start the year, like when Fernando's playing well and he's playing with that swag, he's one of the most fun guys to watch in all of MLB.
Dan, go side view again on that swing if you can, because that's the Nando we need. That's smooth, that athletic version of him. Sometimes he gets to the point where it just doesn't look smooth and athletic anymore, which is crazy, but look at all of that power. That back leg is off of the ground, just throwing it into the baseball.
It's pretty. Real pretty swing.
All right. Remember, for this MLB season, keep a close eye on 420-foot or more homers that unlock your free Baja Blast. I love that segment. What a great segment. Good job, Mountain Dew. Let's move on to question number 2. Don't look now, but the defending AL champs, they are on the struggle bus, and they keep missing their stop, which means they keep staying on the struggle bus. Tampa Bay has dominated the first 2 games of their 4-game set, outscoring the Blue Jays 12-2 last night, 19-3 over the 2 games. The Jays sit at 46-55. They're 12.5 out of the division, 6 back of the wild card. My question to you, Jimmy, is there any chance of a turnaround for this team, or are you declaring them night-night?
I think I'm declaring them night-night. And I think that sucks for Toronto Blue Jays fans to hear. I mean, you were an inning away from winning the World Series last year, and now you're talking about, in my opinion, a team that should probably be selling at the trade deadline. You're in last place in the AL East, and a lot of those teams in the AL East are some of the best teams in the American League. You talk about the Yankees, the Rays, and all of a sudden the Red Sox come out of nowhere, which makes you feel worse if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. So I was kind of looking earlier at like pieces they could sell. George Springer's on the last year of his deal. Kevin Gausman's on the last year of his deal. It's not a lot, to be honest, that they really could move, but I think they have to sell. There's no point of really going for it at this point.
It sucks to do this, but I also think it's getting late early for them unless they have this miraculous turnaround of this offense. I was watching Kevin Pillar, former Blue Jay. He does a podcast with Ricky Romero and another guy who I forget the name right now. I'm sorry about that. I really enjoy actually listening to Kevin Pillar talk about baseball. I think he has a good voice. But he was saying, if I told fans after the World Series that we were going to add basically replace Bo Bichette with Okamoto, although he's been struggling a little bit, but overall numbers are fine. But we're going to add a legitimate Cy Young candidate to the rotation. Yep. Where do you think we'd be? It wouldn't be here.
No.
Right now, if you're looking like Vladdy, 688 OPS, that's almost 100 and something points, 150 points from last year. George Springer is like 200 points away from last year. Dalton Varsho has not showed up. Have they dealt with injuries? Sure, but every team does. It's hard to explain what's happened with this offense.
Yeah.
They're last in the league in runs scored. They haven't even scored 400 runs yet.
I mean, you hear the term in baseball all the time, hitting is contagious. I think on the flip side of that, when nobody's going, everybody starts to feel that pressure a little bit more, and everybody's probably trying to do a little bit more than they should, and that gets to guys pressing, and then your whole lineup starts pressing, and just like that, you're not scoring runs, even if you have all the guys who should be scoring runs. This team's still great on paper. It's just they haven't put it together, and the sample size is getting too big to the point where you're like, all right, this is probably the 2026 Blue Jays.
29th in OBP, 30th in OPS, 30th in runs, only 26th in homers, 26th in stolen bases. The offense is they're averaging under 4 runs a game, and you just can't do that. You just can't do that and win in this league. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that even though, what did I say? There's 6 games out of a wild card. Could they run off 14 in a row like Boston and get back in? I guess we were saying the same thing about Boston early on in the year, right? Their offense was terrible, and then they got going. And there's probably more like name value in this lineup than Boston has in their lineup. But I guess until I see it, it's too difficult because 6 games back, but there is 5 teams ahead of them for a wild card spot that they'd have to jump, including your Detroit Tigers, who we'll get to. So I do think they're going to end up being sellers. And I think Gausman is going to be a big trade piece for them.
Sure. And he's had like not a great season for Kevin Gausman standards, but with, I think, the market being not a lot of teams are going to be selling, I think Kevin Gausman's a guy who will get a lot of attention and should get a good return if they do decide to move him.
Speaking of moving, let's move on. And I got to tell you about T-Mobile. This episode is sponsored by T-Mobile. And whether you're on the go or at the ballpark, T-Mobile is built to keep you connected wherever the game takes you. With America's best network, you know your phone is going to work even in a crowded stadium. Anybody who's been to a big game knows the feeling. Your team hits a walk-off, everyone's trying to text, post, send videos at the exact same time, and suddenly your phone won't load anything. Or when you're traveling to stream the games, or trying to stream the games while traveling, and the feed keeps buffering at the worst possible moment. Those are the moments that matter to a real baseball fan, and a drop signal shouldn't be the reason you miss any of them. T-Mobile's network is built specifically to handle all of it. Packed stadiums, big moments, no problem. Find out how baseball hits different with T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Fastest based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data of National Speed Source results for the second half of 2025. That's best based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data, second half of 2025. All right, James. People call you James ever?
Yeah, my mom when she's mad at me.
James, what's your middle name?
Bernard.
James Bernard.
Yeah, JBK.
I'm Trevor Patrick Plouffe.
That's pretty cool.
It's time for you to shine. Give me your State of the Union on the Tigers. I want to hear where you got them. I just mentioned they're right above the Blue Jays, who you just said were dead. You just said that. They're 1 game above those Blue Jays. Give me the State of the Union on the Tigers.
Well, for the people out there listening to this who are in the John Boy Media podcast world, I did go on Talking Baseball not too long ago, and we talked a lot about Tarek Skubal and what we think we should do and stuff like that. The difference for me between the Tigers and the Blue Jays, 1, I believe the Tigers have the second easiest schedule remaining in the American League. So that's a big benefit for them. 2, everybody's kind of coming back for the Tigers right now. I've said that a lot. Like, Parker Meadows was out, Kerry Carpenter out, Javi Baez, Gleyber Torres. Gleyber's came back, Kerry Carpenter's came back. Javi should be back soon. Parker Meadows, not too sure on that time turner table. Tarek Skubal was hurt. He came back. Casey Mize, Troy Melton, who was throwing the ball incredibly. Nobody gives Troy Melton enough love. His ERA is under 2 this year. One of the better pitchers in the American League. Jack Flaherty just came back. Framber Valdez, who had a terrible outing last night against the Chicago Cubs, has started to throw the ball better outside of that. I still look at the Detroit Tigers as one of the best teams in the American League. I said it a lot. I know the record doesn't show it, but AJ Hinch has said it's a good team with a bad record. And you could say a lot of bad teams managers are going to say that to kind of defend their guys. But I think in this case, he's actually right. I think just because everybody was hurt for so long, that's when they went on a terrible stretch. They were like 4-18 or 4-20, something like that. Once everybody got healthy, they started playing better ball, best record in the American League since June 1st. I think they're giving a lot of reasons to their ownership to buy at the deadline. They're showing that in a weak American League, they still have what it takes to make that run. It's a big decision, though, because, again, Tarek Skubal is the biggest trade piece this season, and it reminds me a lot of the Angels when they didn't trade Shohei Ohtani, and it kind of set them back for years and years. So that's a big argument from Tigers fans that I do agree with, but as a Tigers fan, I would love for this team to go for it.
So their schedule leading up to the deadline, at home for 4 against Kansas City. They obviously have one tonight against Chicago as well, the Cubs. And then they play Baltimore for 3 at home. Then they go to the A's, and that is where they'll end up before the deadline. I agree with you. I think I have them higher than the Blue Jays just from recent success. And Jack Flaherty just went on the IL.
Yeah, he did go back on the IL
So
yesterday.
there is that. But Cater, don't worry. Cater Montero's stepping up tonight. He's pitching. I got a follow-up question. There are rumors that Tarek Skubal is actually still on the trading block, and some sources are saying the Tigers could look for major league starters in return, plus some prospects. That way, they wouldn't give up on the season, but still recoup some value for Skubal. Do you think that's still in play? Like, or like, I guess I'd say that's in play.
Yeah.
But as a Tigers fan, if they did that, is that the same as selling? Or like giving up on a season if you're like Skubal out, Emmett Sheehan in with the Dodgers prospect?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think it's giving up on the season, but as a Tigers fan, I personally hate it. I think one of the big advantages that we've had as Tigers fans is like going into a 5-game series in the playoffs, and you know Tarek Skubal is going to throw 2 of those games. You start to feel really good about your chances. So if you trade him away, I think your chances of winning it all are just not what they could be if you keep him. And I think we want to win with Tarek Skubal. We want one last ride. Like Tigers fans don't expect us to sign him this offseason. We're calling a spade. Like we kind of know he's gone, but we would love one last chance in what we feel like is a 3-year championship window, 2024, 2025, 2026. Give these guys one last run to win it all.
I'd be pissed if I was Tigers fans and they did that.
For sure.
Trade him for, a guy that will come back and kind of be a warm body in the rotation and maybe some prospects. Like that's not what you want. You want him there. I understand the Shohei Ohtani comparison.
Yep.
But also, I believe the qualifying offer is in play. I kind of had gotten that confirmed. I wasn't sure on with the CBA going, but because it's prior to the CBA being enacted, I think it's going to be a thing. So that's what you would get for Skubal, and you got to hit on your draft picks. But yeah, I would hate that. I really want the Tigers to keep him. I don't want to see him go to the Dodgers. Like
that'd be real tough.
Yeah.
But also, like what I tell my kind of counter argument to the Tigers fans who are like the Ohtani thing is we did the same thing with Justin Verlander and we did trade him. And not saying that was wrong. Like we probably should have moved JV when we did, but prospects, you never know. Like we ended up getting nothing back for Justin Verlander, who was still pitching at the top of his game at that point. Tarek Skubal was pitching at the top of his game. We could trade him and get nothing back. Like
who are the guys? I'm curious.
Daz Cameron, who played a couple of games, maybe 50 games with us. Jake Rogers, who's now our backup catcher, and then a pitcher. I think his last name was Flores, who never made the bigs with us. So we literally Jake Rogers was what we got back for Justin Verlander.
It's the history of baseball trades is littered with returns that didn't return.
Correct.
Essentially.
Yeah, you need to make sure you hit. So if they do trade them, they better get something back.
You know what does hit though, Jimmy Norp?
Tell me.
Bonobos. Bonobos actually sent me and Chris some stuff over, and I wasn't expecting to like it a ton. But I put a pair of their pants on for the first time, and I just kind of want to continue to wear them. So soft, great material, fit well, and that's the Bonobos thing. They built their whole reputation on solving the fit problem. Men's clothes were always too boxy or too tight, and they fixed it. They took that approach to shirts, shorts, polos, linen, the whole wardrobe. And they sent me a few different pieces. I like them all. I look really classy in Bonobos. Casual and polished at the same time, if you will. Wore them out to the ballpark and then to dinner after without changing once. They're kind of the all-encompassing lifestyle type clothes. So if you like that, check out Bonobos. Put on Bonobos, feel good, and get on with your day. Right now, head to bonobos.com/today and use code today for 25% off your order. That's a great deal, people. Once again, that's bonobos.com/today for 25% off. And make sure you use my promo code today so they know that we sent you here from Baseball Today. I really wasn't expecting to like their stuff, and I did. And I'm a fashionable guy. Look at me. Although Olivia told me, my wife, she said I'm I think I made fun of someone. I said, that guy dresses like an LAF boy. And she's like, that's kind of what you dress like. Dang it, dude. I'm like, but I'm 40. I can't be doing that. She's like, oh, I don't know.
Nah, you still got swag. I'll give it to you.
All right. That brings us to our fourth topic of the day. And it's time for Pack in the Park, where we look at players and storylines to get fans into the stadium, brought to you by SeatGeek. And I'm excited to talk to you about this one. It's the Texas Rangers and the AZ Diamondbacks, two teams who truly I cannot figure out. I've called both their games, series, watched them play in person, and they're an enigma to me. The Rangers trounced the White Sox 10-0 last night, while the Snakes had to win via the walk-off variety. Show it, Dan.
Base hit. Yeah. Ildemaro Vargas. Diamondbacks win it. That's Ildemaro Vargas' second career walk-off hit. The last one came back in 2019.
Shout out Ildemaro Vargas. Look at that pitch. He went up and got that thing.
How the hell did he hit that thing? It was his eyeballs.
That looks like you playing blitzball.
Honestly, fair. Very fair comparison.
Like if I throw you a rise ball, that's what you do to it. Okay. Why do you? I gotta strike you out. I gotta. You know what I gotta do to you in blitzball? Right here.
No, I wouldn't love that. I don't.
Little bow tie for you. Anyways, let's get back to it. Rangers.
Yep.
51-50. It's good for first place in the AL West. The Diamondbacks one game better than that, 52-49. They're second in the NL West because Dodgers. And they're tied with the Pirates for the last wild card spot. Question to you is, you have to pick one team for the rest of the season. Who are you going with and why?
This was a tough one for me. I actually think these are probably, this is going to sound weird, I think these are my two favorite teams in baseball, not named the Detroit Tigers, which I don't really know why. I couldn't explain it. But to answer the question, I will go Texas Rangers. I think just being one, I think the AL West is the worst division in baseball. I really don't think any team in there scares me a ton. I'm not as high on the Mariners as a lot of other people are, and I've said that a lot throughout the whole year. And just because the fact that the Texas Rangers can win both the division and have a chance to win the wild card, obviously the D-backs aren't going to win the division. The Dodgers ran away. So the only chance they have of getting in is that wild card. And I think the Rangers have a better chance of adding more pieces to help them at the deadline, just because I think there's obvious holes in their offense that they can fix. And I still like their rotation, and the rotation hasn't thrown the ball as good as I think they should. I mean, Jacob deGrom has been good when he's healthy. Nady Eovaldi has not had a great year. I was super high on the Mackenzie Gore trade, and he's been bad. Like, I love that 1 through 3 heading into this season. And I thought if this team could make a push in October, like, you wouldn't want to face those 3 guys. Jack Leiter can still come back, and then I think there's even room for them to add 1 starter at the deadline if they want.
Yeah, I think it's the Rangers for me too. And as much as I enjoy watching the Snakes play ball, they play fun games. I think they're very, very top heavy in their offense.
Yes,
and it can be good. Like they can swing it. But the bottom part of that lineup, where we're supposed to have guys like Ryan Waldschmidt come up, Tommy Troy, who's now on the IL, like there's this like youth movement that was supposed to come up. They're not doing as well as they need to be. And then if you look at the pitching staff, it's not only is it decimated by injuries right now, it just hasn't really performed at all. I feel bad every time Zach Gallen has the ball in his hand. So I think, yeah, if you're looking at, for some of the points that you made as well, AL West and the AL wild card kind of be more attainable than the NL West and the NL wild card, I would say the Texas Rangers, and they're a fun team to watch too. I think if like they start hitting on all cylinders and they kind of like group together the offense and the pitching, like they have a chance to beat anybody, for being honest. And I don't think you can really say that about the Diamondbacks. Although they still win games, and then sometimes I'm like, how do you win games? But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texas Rangers as well. But again, I think you can hear my voice. You watch these teams, and I'd love to hear from both fan bases if you agree or disagree with me. It's hard to tell. Like sometimes you watch them, like, oh, that's a really good team, and then sometimes you watch, like, oh my god, this is a very bad team.
For sure.
And I'm a Twins fan, and I feel the same way. And you're a Tigers fan. You probably feel the same way. Maybe all the baseball feels that way about their team.
Unless you're the Dodgers or the Brewers right now, I guess. Probably how it goes.
Yeah, Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies are now like just a good team. Yeah.
I do think both of those teams will make the playoffs, though. That might be a.
You think both the Rangers and the Snakes will?
I think both of them get in.
You think the Pirates have a chance?
I think they have a chance, but I would take the Snakes over the Pirates.
That's a good question too. Snakes are, comment below. Texas Rangers or Snakes, and then from those two teams, them or the Pirates, because those are gosh. I think this September is going to be fascinating, don't
It'll
you?
be fun, dude. It's going to be a good final month of the baseball season because so many teams are going to be in it. I think that's a lot of credit to them adding more postseason teams, but it's going to be a good final month.
Some
of the
people don't like it. Like, oh, these mediocre teams have a chance.
Love
I don't know, man. It's kind of fun.
Love it. I love that everybody, not everybody, but I love that most teams are still in it in September. That's what you want as a fan of your team. Like, you don't want to be watching your team in September being like, okay, season's over.
Go Rangers, go, man. You some Jake Berger going.
Jake Berger. Nice guy.
And I want to see DeGrom in the playoffs. I want to see him do all that.
Everybody does.
There's been so many clips on him. This is another from a Kevin Pillar. I guess I just follow his podcast. This one was with Cody Allen, former reliever for the Guardians or Indians back in the day, and they were talking about DeGrom and saying like this guy just like drinks Mountain Dew, doesn't care, and like just kind of is really good and doesn't really have to work on it. I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know if this is true. This is what they're saying.
Right.
And that's just kind of hilarious. He's like one of the best pitchers of our generation.
Yeah.
And just was a former shortstop that decided that I'm going to twirl the pill a little bit.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. And that was Pack in the Park, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code BASEBALL2026 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. And that brings us to our last topic, some quick hitters, some interesting things happening on the ballpark. And we're going to start out in where was this? Oh, this was in Arizona. We just talked about him. Our guy Kuroda Grauer hit himself in the balls. No cup. You don't really see this too often where it didn't bounce. It just straight went into the balls.
That poor young man. Look, that shot is just everything. That poor young man is not going to be having any young men anytime soon. That you feel, oh my God, that's brutal. Wow.
Love you. Bye, baby. I'll see you. Have fun. Yeah, that's no cup, straight to it. I never really did that. I wore a cup everywhere. I mean, shoot, dude. In the batting cage, I wore a cup. It just felt like part of the uniform to me. The team came out and said he ruptured a testicle.
Oh, that's the last thing you want to hear. That's like nightmare injury scenario.
Were you a cup guy?
I wasn't, and I played infield, so I was really asking for it, to be honest. But never had the problem. Not a cup guy.
You know, my son doesn't wear a cup. I'm like, you need to wear a cup. Like, you don't understand that yet. You're 10 years old, but like you need to wear a cup.
Where's he playing?
He plays third base.
Yeah, I mean, that's asking for it. But then again, I was asking for it and just lucked out.
Even when I was a pitcher, I wore a cup.
No.
Yeah. It just felt like part of the uniform.
That's interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know. I looking back at it, when you see stuff like that happen, be like, I probably should have worn a cup because that is brutal.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
Last one to react to. A couple of bad base running things in this game, but the Phillies, what is you doing, baby? You see Crawford getting in a rundown between third and home, and then somehow JT Realmuto, who was on third base, he did what you're supposed to do. Just stay on the bag. For some reason, he goes down back to second base, and Mookie Betts kind of lobs it to him, and the game's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened here. The third base coach has to be yelling, stay on the bag, stay on the bag. And all of a sudden, he just takes off.
Yeah, so obviously you know this better than me, but like as a runner in that situation, the guy coming from third to home is trying to stay in the rundown long enough to get the other guy to third base, right?
You're not going to get out of a rundown, dude. It's the big leagues.
Yeah,
like once you're in the pickle, like you're done, essentially. It looked like it obviously was a because it was second and third right there. But go back to that, Dan, right?
Yeah.
It was a contact play, so you're going. JT did the right thing until he didn't.
Correct.
And it ends up ending the game. There was another play in this series that when Shohei hit it, I think it was last night too, where the backup catcher for the Dodgers didn't score because he didn't hustle around third base, and Shohei tried to turn it into a hustle double, and Hill throws him out at second base. Run ends up not scoring because he got tagged out before he touched the plate.
Yeah,
we got to clean it up.
Got to clean up. One thing about me, Trev, is I'm a big believer. When I watch a baseball game, I love watching teams do the little things right. I say that all the time, and like stuff like that just can't happen on a big league roster. You got to do those little things correct every time.
The Twins had a horrible base running play against the Cubs as well not too long ago. And I was on my Twins show that I do, and we were talking about base running. And here's the thing, dude. You never practice it. Because the guys asked me, they go, can you improve as a base running team like during the year? Or like, how does that even work? And truly, it's just like you either have good base runners or you don't.
Yeah.
Because you don't work on it. You work on it in spring training. And everyone's like, has this grand image that they're going to be the most aggressive base running team on the planet, and they're going to do all these things. And like the regular season comes around, and you don't do any of it. You don't practice it at all. Like you might. They barely do this anymore at all. Anyway, like during batting practice, you might get some reads off the bat, but you're not really practicing. Like, okay, here's a situation. What's this guy doing? Where are the defenders set up? What kind of arm does this guy have? How are my routes around the bases? Like that, you don't really you just never do it. Sure. Maybe on the high side, Jimmy, you do it 3 times a year. Like, and that's like if you've done it poorly and the coach is like pissed at you, like, hey, what's going to go run some bases?
Yeah.
It's like punishment. And it is the way it is. So you really just have to have like instinctually good base running. And we just saw JT, my God, you've been around for a long time. Can't be doing that. Tigers also not a good base running team.
Disagree.
Who's a good base runner on that team?
Zach McKinstry goes first to third better than
Zach McKinstry better than anybody. Javi Baez got some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, well,
is he a good base runner or a bad base runner?
I think he's a good base runner.
No.
And that's one from a guy who Javi's like, I'm not a big Javi guy, but I think he runs the base as well. I'll give him that. But Zach McKinstry, Trev, if he's on first base and there's a base hit to center field, you blink and that guy's at third. It's incredible.
I love that. That's why he's the McKinn's GOAT.
McKinn's GOAT. There you go.
First Anybody else good, though?
Yeah. I mean, they're slow, which doesn't help. Nobody's
well, I appreciate you coming on, lending your baseball ball-knowing knowledge. Come on here. Talk about the Tigers. Talk about the rest of the league. We really appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow. A lot of good series happening right now. We're 10 days away from the trade deadline, essentially. A lot of exciting things are going to happen. We'll be here to cover it for you on Baseball Today. So for myself, Coach Trev, that is my guy, James Bernard Norp, and producer Dan as well. We will see you tomorrow on Baseball Today.